afternoon, my name is Avery Morris, and when examining the question, to what extent has the use of carbon emission reducing technologies impacted the effects of global climate change within China, I found that technologies such as carbon sequestration, ultra-supercritical power plants, and electric stoves and heaters have decreased the effects of global climate change in China. To demonstrate the impact of these technologies, we must first understand how global climate change works. Pictured here is the greenhouse effect. This is a natural process in which the sun radiates energy towards the earth. The earth reflects this energy back towards space, and some rays are trapped within the atmosphere due to the nature of what we call greenhouse gases. Because this radiation continues to bounce around within the earth's atmosphere, the earth remains warm. As I explained, this process is natural. Each of the 4 greenhouse gases are produced within nature. According to the National Environmental Education Foundation, a foundation that works to educate society on ways to preserve the environment, water vapor is produced through the water cycle. Methane is produced from bacteria who decompose organic matter. Nitrogen is produced in the nitrogen cycle, and carbon dioxide is produced through cellular respiration. The harmful impacts of the greenhouse effect are seen when an excessive amount of these gases are found in the atmosphere. The increase in greenhouse gases are mainly due to the anthropogenic or human-created causes. In 1989, in her speech to the United Nations Assembly, Margaret Thatcher explained that there is a vast increase in the amount of carbon dioxide reaching the atmosphere. The annual increase was 3 billion tons, and half the carbon emitted since the Industrial Revolution still remained in the atmosphere. The National Environmental Education Foundation reports that excess methane is produced from anaerobic decomposition of waste in landfills. Nitrogen is produced by fossil fuel combustion. And being the most abundant greenhouse gas, carbon dioxide increases due to deforestation and the burning of fossil fuels, primarily coal. Urbanized areas are a key producer of carbon dioxide due to the increased amount of power plants and automobiles that accompany the growing population. As you can see in this graph by Pengfei Sheng of Henan Institute of Economics in China, urbanization increases carbon dioxide emissions significantly. In the article, The Urban Transformation of the Developing World, Mark Montgomery explains that among the major regions of developing countries, Asia now holds the largest number of urban dwellers and will continue to do so as urbanization continues. In this graph provided by World Bank, you can see that there's been an increase in China's urbanization over time. These graphs have shown that as China's urbanization has increased, carbon dioxide emissions have increased as well. The effects of the greenhouse effect have been seen in China. A study by the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences of the United States of America, also known as PNAS, has shown that China's monsoon climate makes it sensitive to global climate change. The mean annual air temperature has increased by more than 1 degree Celsius in the past 3 decades, higher than the global average. Although its annual precipitation has not notably changed as a whole, its regional and seasonal patterns have changed significantly across the country. This has damaged China's ecosystems. Species within these ecosystems have not been able to adapt because of how fast the rate of global climate change is moving. It's easy to see how excess carbon dioxide is a large problem. Efforts are being made to reduce the amount of excess carbon dioxide within China. With the help of technology, a reduction in emissions has been seen. In the study by the PNAS, which I previously mentioned, a 5-year plan funded by the Chinese government has been put in place to reduce carbon emissions. It includes the use of carbon sequestration. Carbon sequestration is the liquefying of carbon dioxide, which extracts it from the Earth's atmosphere. It is then injected into pumps which shoot the carbon dioxide deep into the Earth. This reduces the amount of carbon within the atmosphere and reduces the amount of carbon dioxide molecules available for solar radiation to reflect upon. Another technology used within China is the use of ultra-supercritical power plants. According to the website China Power, these coal-burning power plants use refined clean coal and produce increased energy with lower amounts of coal. The increased cleanliness and improved efficiency of these power plants means that less carbon dioxide is being released into the atmosphere, but the same amount of electricity produced remains the same. As well as urbanized areas, individual homes are affected by China's goal to reduce carbon dioxide emissions. China Power explains that in 2017, China's Ministry of Ecology and the Environment subsidized local officials to install electric gas heaters and stoves in 3 million homes throughout villages and cities in the Hebei, Shandong, Henan, and Shanxi provinces. At the same time, the use of coal-fired stoves was banned. As seen in this graph from Our World in Data, carbon dioxide emissions have greatly decreased since the beginning of the use of efficient technological innovations. According to climatechange.org, China has managed to cut carbon dioxide emissions by 46% per unit of economic growth from 2005 levels, and between 2005 and 2015, China's economy grew by 1.48 times, but its carbon intensity dropped by 38.6%. When answering the question, to what extent have carbon dioxide emission reducing technologies impacted the effects of global climate change in China, it is found that technologies such as carbon sequestration, ultra supercritical power plants, and electric heaters and stoves have decreased the effects of global climate change within China. Limitations to this conclusion include the effects of carbon sequestration, which are not available yet because this technology has not been used for a long period of time. Thank you. What questions do you have?
All right, thanks, Avery. I have two questions for you. First up, what information did you need before you began your research, and how did that information shape the type of research that you did?
So before doing my research, I needed to understand what causes global climate change, which is the greenhouse effect, as I mentioned in my presentation. And this allowed me to see which types of gases I know needed to be reduced in order to reduce the effects of global climate change.
Okay. And what additional questions emerged from your research as you went through the process?
As I went through the process, I was interested in how, since carbon dioxide is the leading cause of global climate change when it comes to greenhouse gases, but I wanted to understand how other greenhouse gases were being reduced and how this was reducing global climate change.